So Redfall, for those of you guys who might need a refresher, Redfall is the next game coming from Arcane. These are the guys that did Dishonored and they did Deathloop. So for some people, I mean, they are diehard fans. They're like, this game is really mysterious. There's not a whole lot that's clear about it, and it seems to be a pretty major departure from what they've done in the past, which is a little worrisome because I already felt like Deathloop was too much of a departure and wasn't good as a result. But you know what? Let's just take it piece by piece. They did Prey as well. Yes, you're right. I'm sorry for forgetting Prey. Yes, they did Prey and whatever the Moon, whatever DLC was. There we go. Arcane Austin.
Rumor has it something's off at the church. There's blood in the baptismal font, and pastor's gone missing. And my genius plan was to investigate it.
So we're going to go through this real quick, and then we're going to talk about what we found out like yesterday or the day before about what they're saying this game aims to be. Because I want you to watch this and listen to this and try to figure out what this game is supposed to be. Like, what would you compare it to? What the systems are supposed to be? You know, try to figure out what this is, what the vision for this is.
Alone. Of course. Don't stress, Layla.
I don't know about you guys, but I say that all the time. I walk around and go, don't stress, Luke. Calm down, Luke. It's fine. You'll be fine, Luke. It's okay. A very normal thing to do. Oh, I missed like a handful of steps. Oh God. Oh geez. This, I think it's something that they do for these announcements because they want you to get to know the characters. So they're like, yes, come on, Luke, we gotta go do the thing. Let's go, Luke. Again, my name is Luke. Just so you know, Luke's here. My name is Luke. You know, they say this all the time. And it's really infuriating because it's not how normally people act, and it's not particularly fun in gameplay to have a character constantly talking to themselves like that. It got people to tease Days Gone. People have roasted on an open to fire Forspoken for it. And we've only seen a demo for that. We haven't even seen the full game. Demo and trailers. And she never shuts up. So this already kind of makes me a little worried that it's going to be like cringe dialogue. But you know what? I'm willing to be convinced. Let's see what else they've got. We're 38 seconds in. So, you know, we're just getting started.
What was that?
He is the truth in the darkness. He is the word in the shadow. I've seen the movement in the dark. I've seen the shadow. I see you.
Oh, Lord!
I'll bite out your heart.
Oh, God, oh, God, oh, God, oh, God.
Oh, man. Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, man. I will say, like, look at this. Again, comparing Starfield. You see this muzzle flash versus a picture, little PNG that pops up. This is why, like, these graphics feel much more in line with modern standards, whereas Starfield felt like really, really out of place, you know?
Oh, shit, there's more! Gotcha!
Kiss your ass goodbye.
Jacob! Oh, thank God.
Come on, let's find the others and beat feet.
Come on.
You know, Redfall used to look like it was straight out of a postcard. A picturesque island off the coast of Massachusetts. The bustling historic...
Fun fact, Nikki can't say Massachusetts. She says Massachusetts. It's like it's a brain block. She cannot say it. and I find it really, really funny. You like spell it out. Chew, Fits. That's okay. Massachusetts. Massachusetts. Can't say it. A ship is run aground in the Suez Canal again. Really? Hope everybody's okay.
Downtown.
Really? Hold on, I wanna look
Seafront
it up.
district and the old lighthouse. Then something happened. People started vanishing, and those who didn't sold out big time. Fast forward, basically everyone's either a vampire, a cultist trying to become a vampire, or dead. And these aren't just trashy movie vampires. These monsters blocked out the sun and pushed back all the water, totally cut us off from the outside world. Gotta admit though, if I have to be stuck on an island full
Can't
of
find anything on
vampires, I'm glad it's with y'all.
Feelings mutual, I guess.
Aw, thanks, Jacob. We've also got Remy, our engineer genius, and her little robot buddy.
She means you reborn. Who's a good robot? Who's the best robot?
And our resident.
I'm really worried this is gonna have the same cringe writing as some of the other games we've seen recently. Like they're already doing it. When they're doing this type of stuff in the trailers, usually it's because they think it's gonna be like really eye-catching and people are gonna love it. I just find it cringe. So I'm already a little worried. And plus, I don't have a lot of confidence in the writing staff at Arcane because I don't want to spoil Deathloop, but the big plot twist at the end of Deathloop basically ruins the narrative of the entire game. Like, makes it really, really weird. Bad. So, I don't know. I don't have a ton of confidence in them. Herobrine, oh, it's okay. It must have just happened because it's not like trending. It's not anywhere I've seen. Let's see. Loading. A ship is running aground in the Suez Canal trying to refloat the MV Lorry. Yeah, it's like it must have just happened.
An expert on all things creepy.
I prefer the term cryptozoologist, but to each their own.
Last but not least, yours truly. I have these weird powers.
We've been digging for answers, but haven't found much beyond blood and death. Luckily,
You have to love the random British accents. I love the Brits, guys. I love all of you. And I appreciate you guys watching and hanging out with me. But what is it with like every game nowadays, they have to have the 2 or 3 obligate random British person to make everybody else sound more intelligent. You know, like I've once you've noticed it, you can't unnotice it. It's like they do it all the time nowadays. And it's usually like these American development studios that are hiring it, the actors and actresses. Like this is set in Massachusetts. Like it's not set in the UK. So there's just like British characters because people like in America like listening to British accents. So they just call it good. It's just funny to me. Like it's such a weird thing. Can we stop marvelifying these main characters' dialogue, please? Thank you. I agree. I don't find this kind of thing like witty or funny. I like Taika Waititi's films. I thought that he did really well in What We Do in the Shadows. I thought that was really funny. And I thought Jojo Rabbit was really funny. But he's one of those guys. What it is really is self-indulgent comedy where people think they're really witty and funny and relatable. Oh my God. And so then they just ham it up. And that's it. So like Taika Waititi, when he performs on screen, he's just himself. Like Player One. Or not Player One. New Guy is what it was called. New Guy with Ryan Reynolds. Every time Taika Waititi was on screen, you could tell he was just like, I'm the funny one. So I'm just going to come here and I'm going to be funny. And so the scene would just keep going and you would wait. Free Guy, that's what it is. And you'd wait for the funny thing to happen and it just never happened. Same with like Chris Pratt. They just put Chris Pratt on screen and The Rock and they just expect that that's going to make the movie good. And it's like, no, there's got to be good writing. You can't just will a character into popularity. And with this stuff, like the meta right now is just to have characters who are like, oh my God, so quirky, and comment on stuff while also not taking it super seriously. And I just find that cringe.
the vampires and their sycophants aren't discreet about where they like to nest. I'd bet the answers we need are inside those tourist traps turned fortresses.
Spotted some bloodsuckers in their fan club near the festival grounds. Let's start there. Ghosting out.
Cultists could go straight at him or just slip past.
Let's just get this done. On my mark. Oh shit, blood bag! They know we're here. Look alive!
This one is mine.
Going up.
Seriously, are people like allergic to aiming down sights? What is this? Like, first Starfield and now this game, nobody can aim down sights. Everybody has to hip fire.
My cryptid hunter's intuition tells me there's a nest nearby.
You're what?
Duff, that's not a thing.
Found something.
Oh, now I simply must go in there.
What is that? Where does it go?
Some kind of collective consciousness.
That's impossible.
There's the movie theater. I used to come here all the time. Why'd they have to mess this up for me?
Why do they have to mess? So funny. It's not.
Shit.
It'll collapse any second.
Run!
Like, seriously, I think that's how they expect people to react to this stuff. Like, that people are just gonna find it so funny. Like, oh, that's such a funny, clever line. It's just like, nope, nope. Shut up, please. Dear God, shut up. I'm not interested in your witty takes or banter.
Little grannies wanna sip they tea. And you come all parching in. All ugly like a brown fur cardigan. We can skip that monologue and arguing. I'm like,
They'll pay these people to write. Yeah, I don't know. Well, it's like I used to say with the Saints Row stuff and like Watch Dogs 2 and all of this writing that seems to really romanticize and hype up, for lack of a better term, like the cringiest of millennial stereotypes. And then I realized, I had an epiphany, or as my friend Caleb sometimes calls it, I had an apothecary. And what I realized is like, oh, the people that are writing these games, like that's them. They got out of college, they dress and talk like that. And so when they're writing these characters, they think that's relatable. Because who else is going into like and getting writing degrees and creative writing degrees anymore? It's mostly people who dress and act like that. I think they honestly are kind of blindsided when the game comes out and people roast them for the cringe writing and being not relatable. Because they really do think that it's going to be relatable. They think like, no, this is how people act. This is how they talk. What do you mean this isn't relatable? Like most of these lines came from fun little inside jokes we had in the writer's room, funny stuff that happened. I really do think that's what it is. Because all of these games share the like similar writing staff that come from the same like colleges and universities and stuff. And I do not think it's a coincidence that all of the writing kind of ends up being the same thing, you know, across the board. I don't relate to it and I'm a millennial. Well, that's the thing. Like, it's a very particular type of person who goes to school to write this kind of stuff. And those types of people also, like, in a lot of cases, they're not the target audience. The target audience tend to be people like you and me. I don't know exactly who you are if you're watching this, you know, what your particular backstory is. But most people don't talk like that, don't act like that. And so it's not relatable. Like, I think that's why people connected with Arthur Morgan so much in Red Dead, because he was just a guy. Like, he didn't have anything really particularly special about him. His unique characteristics is that he was like very loyal, and actually loyal to a fault. And he was somebody who was trying to figure out what was best for the people he cared about. And he has to come to terms with his own mortality, something we all can relate to as we grow older. And all of this at the same time, like, he's navigating and exploring a world that's beautiful and interesting. So he writes down his stories and draws the pictures of the things he finds. And it's very, very relatable because it's a human story. None of this stuff is human. This stuff is all like weird hipster nonsense, alien garbage. And so, of course, we don't find it relatable. But that's why, like, I truly think I heard in an interview, somebody said they worked like the writing. I think they were like one of the lead producers or something on Saints Row, and they were legitimately blindsided by the reception of the writing, because they seriously thought that was like quirky and fun and relatable to the younger generation. They're like, we get the bugs and the concerns over performance, but the complaints over the writing, we really are struggling to figure out what that's a reference to. They were actually blindsided that people didn't find that stuff funny or quirky or something they'd want to deal with for hours and hours on end. And so sometimes when somebody tells you that they just don't get why this is cringy, if they say it enough times, you should just start to believe them. They don't get it because it's not cringy to them. You know? Lead Redfall writers are older folks, are both older folks. It's a script by committee. Get this out of my highlighter thing keeps sitting in the way. Young people know this doesn't hit. So you're saying maybe it's like, well, what my understanding of the writing for something like this is that there's an executive writer, like lead writers, who are approving stuff. So like Emil Pagliarulo, for Bethesda, right? So like he's one of the head honchos, and then he's supervising all of this stuff to make sure that it fits with the general themes based on his conversations with Todd Howard and all this. And then he has like a team of writers that write the dialogue, and then he looks at it and approves it, and it's like, yep, that's good, that fits with this character's motivations, okay, that works. What this screams to me, and it's why I really don't like the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies, it screams old man trying to relate to the young people. Like that's all I can really see in a lot of these games writing, where it just feels like it's a 60-year-old man or a 50-year-old man trying to figure out what's relatable to the young, hip kids. And so he brings on a bunch of hipster writers to write this stuff, and then is baffled when it's not relatable. He took my thing!